Hello everyone, welcome to Positive Minds. Our topic for today is about fractions. Did you know, around 2000 BC, the earliest known use of fraction comes from the Middle Kingdom of Egypt? Quick review. Fraction is a numerical representation indicating the quotient of two numbers. A fraction such as 1/4 has two numbers. The top number is the numerator. It is the number of parts you have. The bottom number is the denominator. It is the number of parts the whole is divided into. Example, what does 3/4 mean? We have three parts. Each part is a quarter or 1/4 of a whole. Now, we can define the three types of fractions like this. Proper fractions. The numerator is less than the denominator. Examples, 1/5, 3/4, and 2/9. Improper fractions. The numerator is greater than or equal to the denominator. Examples, 7/3, 12/5, 9/9. Mixed fractions. A whole number and a proper fraction together, such as 1.5, 2 3/4, and 5 2/5. Subsequently, this topic shall discuss operations on fractions. The goal for this topic is to reduce, add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions. A very important baseline to algebra is working with fractions. In this topic, you will learn reducing, multiplying, dividing, adding, and subtracting of fractions. When you deal with fractions, we always want the answers to be reduced in its simplest form. This is the simple rule, reducing fractions by dividing both the numerator and denominator by the same number shown in the following examples. Example 1, 18/27. Both numerator and denominator are divisible by 9. In this case, we divide the numerator 18 by 9 and the denominator 27 by 9. So the answer is 2/3. Example number 2, 24/40. Both numerator and denominator are divisible by 8. So 24 divided by 8 over 40 divided by 8 is equal to 3/5. Another example, 49/56. Both numerator and denominator are divisible by 7. So 49 divided by 7 over 56 divided by 7 is equivalent to 7/8. You already know how to reduce fractions in its simplest form. Right now, we're gonna proceed ahead on how to multiply fractions. In dealing with fractions, multiplication is the easiest operation. You can multiply fractions by multiplying numerators together and denominators together, multiplying straight across. For instance, 2/3 times 5/7. Just multiply the numerators. 2 times 5 is equal to 10, divided by 3 times 7 is equal to 21. So the final answer is 10/21. Example 2, 5/12 times 2/3. Multiplying numerators across, 5 times 2 is equal to 10, and denominators across, 12 times 3 is equal to 36. The answer is 10/36. If you would observe, this fraction is still not in its simplest form. So we're gonna reduce the fraction by dividing both numerator and denominator by 2. 10 divided by 2 is equal to 5 over 36 divided by 2 is equal to 18. So the final answer is 5/18. When multiplying fractions, you should reduce the fractions before you multiply. You can either reduce vertically with a single fraction or diagonally with numerous fractions, as long as you utilize one number from the numerator and one number from the denominator. Example 3, 5/32 times 24/10. In this case, we can reduce 5, the numerator of the first fraction, against 10, the denominator of the second fraction, by dividing 5. Moreover, we can reduce 24, the numerator of the second fraction, and 32, the denominator of the first fraction, by dividing 8. To simplify, 1 over 4 times 3 over 2 is equivalent to 3 over 8. And that's the final answer. How to divide fractions? When dividing fractions, it will require to first take the reciprocal of the second fraction, which is also called the divisor, and do the same process of multiplying fractions as we discussed earlier. Example 1. 2 over 5 divided by 3 over 7. We multiply the reciprocal of the divisor, which is 7 over 3. So it will become 2/5 times 7 over 3 is equal to 14 over 15. And that's the answer. Let's proceed to example number 2. 15 over 17 divided by 3 over 5. We multiplied by the reciprocal of the divisor, which is 5 over 3. So 15 over 17 times 5 over 3. If you would observe the fraction, there's a common multiple from the first and the second fraction. The numerator 15 on the first fraction and the denominator 3 on the second fraction. Therefore, we need to reduce 15 and 3 by dividing 3. The answer is 5 over 17 times 5 over 1 is equal to 25 over 17. And that's the final answer. How to add or subtract fractions? Adding and subtracting fractions have similar process. If both fractions already have a common denominator, or what you call similar fractions, you just need to add or subtract the numerators and keep the denominator. Example number 1. 2 over 6 plus 7 over 6. What we should do is add the numerator 7 plus 2 is equal to 9 and copy the denominator, which is 6. Reduce answer by dividing both numerator and denominator by 3. 9 over 3 over 6 over 3. The final answer is 3 over 2 or 3/2. Example number 2. 5 over 4 minus 3 over 4. What we're gonna do is subtract 3 from 5, which is 2, and copy the denominator 4. Reduce answer by dividing both numerator and denominator by 2. 2 over 2 divided by 4 divided by 2 is equal to 1/2. So our final answer in this specific question is 1/2. Regarding adding and subtracting fractions, you will first have to find the least common denominator or LCD. There are several ways to find the LCD. One way is to find the smallest multiple of the larger denominator that you can also divide by the smaller denominator. For instance, find the LCD of 4 and 10. The procedure is to test the multiples of the larger number and divide it with the lower number. If the quotient is a whole number, therefore, it is the LCD. Easy, right? Test multiples of 10. 10 divided by 4, we cannot divide 10 over 4. Therefore, 10 is not the LCD. Let's test 20. 20 divided by 4 is equal to 5. Yes, you can divide 20 by 4. Therefore, LCD is 20. What if the denominators do not match? You will first have to identify the LCD and build up each fraction by multiplying the numerators and denominators by the same number so the denominator is built up to the LCD. Example number 3. 4 over 5 plus 1 over 4. Let's find the LCD. Test multiples of 5. 5 over 4, we cannot divide. Let's test 10. 10 over 4, we cannot divide. Let's test 15. 15 over 4, we cannot divide. Let's test 20. 20 over 4, yes, we can divide. So therefore, the LCD is 20. Next, multiply first fraction by 4 and the second fraction by 5 so we can obtain 20 on the denominator. So the answer is 16 over 20 plus 5 over 20 is equivalent to 21 over 20, and that's the final answer. Let's proceed to our last example, number 4. 3 over 4 minus 3 over 6. Find the LCD. Test multiples of 6. 6 over 4 we cannot divide. Let's test 12. 12 over 4. Yes, we can divide. So the LCD is 12. Multiply first fraction by 3 and the second fraction by 2. So we can obtain a denominator of 12. 9 over 12 minus 6 over 12 is equal to 3 over 12. Reduce the answer by dividing both the numerator and denominator by 3, and the final answer is 1/4. So that's it. You have learned about operations on fractions. If you think this is valuable, please do not forget to share, like, and subscribe to our channel. Always have positive minds.